The Yalari homeworld was burning. In the cold black of space, fire rained from above. Giant warships filled the sky, their weapons destroying cities and power stations. Screams echoed across the communication lines. The people of Yalari were peaceful, not built for war. They had no army strong enough to fight back. Above the planet, inside the last surviving command ship, Captain Relex gripped the edge of his chair. His scales were cracked and his eyes full of fear. His crew looked to him for answers, but he had none. "The defense grid is down," an officer said in a trembling voice. "Enemy warships are closing in." Captain Relex didn't answer. He stared at the emergency beacon, a strange old device hidden under the floor. It was ancient, from the time of the First Galactic Council. He had never used it. No one had. It was forbidden. But now, they had no choice. "Activate the ancient beacon," he said quietly. The crew hesitated. "That beacon hasn't been touched in centuries," the officer whispered. "We don't know who it will call." Captain Relex looked around. "Do you want to die here? Or do you want to try?" The room fell silent. Then the officer nodded and opened the sealed box. Inside was a small black cube. No buttons, no lights, just cold metal. The officer placed it on the floor. It started to hum. A low, deep sound filled the room. Then a blinding flash of white. Light shot out from the cube into the stars. The signal was sent. It moved faster than anything else in the galaxy. It passed destroyed ships, silent moons, and ancient satellites. Most civilizations didn't even notice it. A few picked it up, but ignored it. The message was too strange, too old, too dangerous, until it reached a dead planet, a world full of storms, mountains, and oceans. It had no trade routes, no visitors, no active ports. Its name was Earth. The signal hit a long-buried satellite floating above the surface. That satellite blinked for the first time in 200 years. A beam of data shot down into the planet, deep into an underground base hidden below the ice of Antarctica. Their machines began to wake up. Inside the command chamber, screens lit up one by one. Lights flickered, cables shook. A deep voice echoed through the empty halls. "Signal received. Threat detected. Operation Reignite begins." Old military AIs came online. Robotic arms cleaned rust from ancient machines. Hidden hangars opened beneath deserts, mountains, and seas. Humanity had left the galactic stage long ago. They had fought terrible wars and had vanished afterward. Some believed they were extinct. Others whispered they had gone into hiding, waiting for a reason to return. Now, they had one. On the Yalari ship, Captain Relex waited. He watched as more enemy ships surrounded the planet. Threxan Kor, the warlord who had destroyed 5 other civilizations, was coming for them next. The Yalari had nothing left. The officer stared at the ancient beacon. "Captain Ga, what if no one heard us?" Captain Relex opened his mouth to answer, but then the screen lit up. A new signal came through, strong, focused, and terrifying. "Received your SOS." The voice was cold, human. It didn't ask for thanks. It didn't promise mercy. "You called. We answer." Captain Relex swallowed hard. Who are you?" The reply came like thunder. "We are the Death Worlders." Far across space, hidden inside a shadow of Jupiter, something massive began to move. A black ship, shaped like a dagger, lifted from its cradle. No light reflected off its hull, no engine burned, but it moved like a ghost, fast and silent. Inside, ancient warriors woke up. Soldiers not made of flesh anymore, but steel, fire, and memory. They didn't smile. They didn't speak. They only prepared. One of them, a commander from a forgotten war, looked at the screen. Coordinates locked. Threat detected. Mission accepted. In the stars above the Yalari homeworld, Threxan's flagship turned slowly toward the burning cities. He laughed as his ships continued the attack. "Nothing will save them," he said. He was wrong. Because something had heard the call, and it was coming. The planet called Earth was silent. Cold winds howled over empty cities. Nature had taken over. Vines covered buildings. Rivers ran through broken roads. For over 100 years, no alien had visited this world. The galaxy believed Earth was dead, but they were wrong. Deep under Antarctica, machines were waking up. Giant turbines spun. Lights blinked on. Screens lit up, showing maps, enemy ships, and danger signals. Dust fell from the ceiling as something big moved below the ground. A voice spoke again. Emergency protocol active, preparing fleet. In orbit, an old satellite blinked twice and sent a new signal. Across the solar system, Earth's hidden weapons came to life. On the moon, huge hangars opened for the first time in a century. Black ships floated out, silent, fast, and sharp like knives. Their armor was dark and smooth. No logos. No flags. Just one message on every hull. Deathworlder Protocol, do not engage without permission. Back on the Yalari ship, Captain Relax stared at the screen. He had not moved for minutes. The human voice still echoed in his ears. We received your SOS. But after that, there was only silence. No ship appeared. No help arrived. His crew began to panic. Captain, what if it was a trick? One officer asked. Or maybe it was an old signal from the past, said another. Maybe they're all dead? Relax shook his head. No, that voice, it wasn't a recording. It answered me. Still, doubt filled the room. The Yalari were scientists, engineers, and artists. They had never known war, not like this. And certainly not like the Deathworlders. They remembered the stories. Long ago, humans had helped defeat the Swarnax Empire, but their methods were brutal. After the war, humans disappeared. Some say they chose exile. Others say the galaxy forced them into hiding. One thing was certain. Wherever humans went, destruction followed. In deep space, Threxan Kor watched the Yalari system from his massive throne ship. His claws tapped the metal armrest as reports came in. The Yalari sent a signal, one of his officers said. Threxan grinned. To who? We don't know. The signal is ancient. It wasn't meant for any of the major powers. Threxan stood and walked to the main screen. Find it, and destroy whoever answers. Back in Earth's system, the Deathworlder AI had already detected Threxan's movement. The supercomputer Prometheus 9 began running millions of battle simulations. Per second, it chose the most efficient one. Fleet Delta Black prepared a launch. Inside the black ships, humans were waking, or what remained of them. These weren't normal soldiers. They were enhanced, part machine, part memory. Some had died long ago, but their minds were saved in Earth's cold storage. Now they had bodies. Again, stronger, faster, unbreakable. Commander Rhea 17 opened her eyes. Her body made no sound as it rose. What's the target? She asked. The voice of Prometheus replied. Warlord Threxan Kor. Genocide-level threat. Orders. Eliminate with extreme force. Commander Rhea smiled. Let's remind the galaxy why they feared us. Captain Relax sat in silence as new signals arrived. Strange ones. Sir, the officer said, voice shaking. Something is happening, near Jupiter. We're detecting energy spikes, gravitational shifts. Relax walked to the screen. What he saw made his heart stop. Ships, hundreds of them. Black, sleek, silent, and heading toward Yalari space. There were no greetings, no promises, just speed, power, precision. The galaxy noticed too. Across alien networks, old warnings flashed again. Do not contact Earth. Do not awaken the Deathworlders. If they return, pray they leave quickly. But it was too late. The humans were already on their way, and they were not coming to negotiate. The Yalari Council gathered in their underground chamber, far below the burning cities. Fear was heavy in the air. Everyone had seen the strange ships coming. Black, silent, fast. There was no doubt. They were human. But were they saviors? Or something worse? A transmission came through. This one not from Earth but from deep space. A signal stored in an old archive marked as top secret. Captain Relax had it played on the council's screen. It was a recording from 200 years. Ago the speaker was a lizard-like alien from a long-dead race. His face was bloody. The background showed fire and panic. His voice shook with fear. To any species who finds this, do not call the humans. Do not send signals to Earth. We thought they would help us. They destroyed everything. The video showed images. Cities leveled, fleets in pieces, planets turned to ash. The alien coughed and leaned closer. They fight like machines. They don't sleep. They don't feel pity. If they call themselves Deathworlders, run. Then, the video ended. Static filled the screen. Silence took over the room. One council member stood. We must turn off the beacon. Tell them not to come. Another shouted, It's too late. They're already here. Captain Relax raised his hand. Enough. His voice was strong, but inside he was unsure. He had heard the stories. Humans, who burned entire fleets, who made war like no one else in the galaxy. But he had also heard another version. That when the humans chose to protect, they were unstoppable. We sent the SOS, Relax said. Now we face what comes. Far away, the human fleet entered Yalari space. No lights, no warnings. Just black ships moving like shadows between the stars. One Yalari scout ship, small and curious, moved toward them. It sent a peaceful greeting. This is Scout Vessel Orin 7. We welcome you. No response. The scout ship got closer. Suddenly, its systems went dark. The engines shut down. Power died. The crew screamed as cold silence filled the ship. Then, it vanished from sensors. The humans hadn't fired a weapon. They didn't need to. They had disabled the ship without touching it. Inside the lead human vessel, Commander Rhea 17 watched everything calmly. They're still curious, she said. Still soft, Prometheus AI replied. Threxon's forces have increased planetary bombardment. Civilian death toll is rising. Rhea turned her gaze toward the planet. Fires were visible from orbit. The Yalari needed help. Then let's end this, she said. Meanwhile, Threxon Corps received new intelligence from his spies. The humans are in the system. Threxon laughed. So the ghosts return. Let them come. I've crushed fleets before. But one of his commanders looked nervous. These aren't normal ships, my lord. Their energy patterns, their speed. We've never seen anything like it, Threxon snarled. I don't care if they're made of fire. I will show the galaxy what happens to myths. He didn't know that the humans were already watching him, from orbit, from above his own warship, and they were already planning his end. Back on Yalari Prime, Captain Relax spoke quietly with his science officer. What do we know about the humans? He asked. The officer looked scared. Most records were erased, but there is one story. She pulled up an old Yalari history file. It told of a distant planet under siege by the Swornax Empire. No one could stop the Swornax. Not until Earth's fleet arrived. It said the humans didn't just fight the enemy. They broke the rules of war. They hacked starships, dropped asteroids, used solar flares as weapons. Their enemies couldn't keep up. The humans won in 6 days. But the cost was terrible. Millions died. Not just enemies, but allies, too. Captain Relax looked at the stars. He didn't know if calling them was a mistake, but there was no turning back. In the sky above, a message appeared on all screens. It had no sound, just words. You are not alone. Then one by one, human warships began to descend. The sky above Yalari Prime turned dark, not because of clouds, but because of shadows. Hundreds of black human ships hovered over the burning planet. They made no sound. No light flashed from their engines. They simply arrived as if they had always been there. On the surface, people stared upward. Some dropped to their knees. Others hid inside ruined buildings. For a moment, time stood still. Then the largest ship spoke. This is Commander Rhea 17 of the Deathworlder fleet. We have received your signal. We are here to eliminate the threat. No one cheered. No one clapped. Even though help had come, everyone was afraid. Inside the Yalari Command Center, Captain Relax watched the human message repeat. His hands were shaking. He didn't know whether to be thankful or terrified. "Send them a reply," he ordered. "Tell them." "Thank you." The communications officer tapped the console. "They're blocking all responses, sir. We can't contact them." Captain Relax frowned. Why would they come to help, but not speak with us? No one had the answer. Above the planet, the Deathworlder fleet moved fast. One by one, they targeted the Threxan warships. The enemy didn't see them coming. The first Threxan battleship exploded without warning, ripped apart by a silent pulse of energy. No trail. No missile. Just destruction. The second ship tried to run. It didn't get far. It was cut into pieces in mid-space like a knife through cloth. Threxan Kor watched in horror from his throne ship. What kind of weapons are those? "They're not firing anything," his officer screamed. "They're using directed gravity fields. We can't track them." "They're cheating," Threxan roared. "No," the officer whispered. "They're just better." In orbit, Commander Rhea 17 studied the battlefield. "Begin atmospheric entry," she ordered. Her ship started descending into the sky. On the surface, people ran for cover as the giant black vessel broke through the clouds. Its design was terrifying, smooth, sharp, like a predator in metal form, but it didn't attack the Yulari cities. Instead, it hovered above a ruined square and opened a hatch. Out came humans, tall, silent, armored in black suits that moved like living things. They looked more like machines than people. No eyes could be seen behind their helmets. No symbol showed who they were fighting for. Only one thing was clear. These were not normal soldiers. Captain Relax and his guard stood outside the command center as the first humans arrived. Relax stepped forward slowly. "I am Captain Relax, of the Yulari Defense Council." The lead human nodded once. "Understood." Relax hesitated. "Are you here to help us?" The human's voice was flat and cold. "You sent a distress call. We respond." Relax tried to smile. Then, "We thank you." The human didn't answer. Instead, he looked up at the sky. Enemy flagship still in orbit. "Clearance to neutralize?" A voice came through his comms. "Clearance granted. Eliminate the target." In orbit, Threxan Kor screamed at his crew. "Fire all weapons, kill them." Lasers, plasma cannons, missiles, all fired at the approaching Deathworlder ship, but nothing hit. The human ship didn't dodge. It didn't block. The weapons simply vanished. They bent around the black ship like it wasn't there. And then, it returned fire. One shot, no flash, no boom, just silence. And then Threxan's throne ship broke apart from the inside, crushed like paper. His body floated out into space, frozen in fear. The war was over. On Yulari Prime, the people began to come out from hiding. They saw the human soldiers standing guard, quiet and still. They watched the enemy fleet explode above their heads like fireworks. They realized they were saved. Captain Relax looked at the human leader. "You destroyed them. All of them." The soldier nodded. "Threat eliminated." Relax stepped closer. "Why? Why help us?" The human finally turned his helmet toward Relax. "You asked for help? That's what we do." "But the stories say—" Relax started. The soldier interrupted. "Stories are written by those who survived. We don't care about stories, we care about the mission." Then he turned and walked back to his ship. But far above, hidden among the stars, another race was watching. The Zarketh Dominion, an ancient empire, had been waiting for the humans to return. They had feared this moment, and now it had begun. News spread faster than light. The Deathworlders have returned. At first, no one believed it. The galaxy had not seen humans in over 100 years. Many thought Earth was dead. Others believed humans had vanished by choice. But the truth was now clear. They had been sleeping, and someone had woken them up. On the capital world of the Zarketh Dominion, panic filled the great council hall. The leaders of 5 powerful empires stood around a glowing star map. All eyes were fixed on the Yalari system. One word appeared on the screen: neutralized. A Zarketh warlord slammed his fist on the table. The Threxan fleet is gone. In less than 1 day, another leader whispered. They didn't even lose a single ship. The room went silent. Even the strongest rulers in the galaxy looked afraid. They were never gone, the oldest among them said. They were waiting, watching. Back on Yalari Prime, the Deathworlder soldiers had begun to leave. No parades, no thanks, no demands. Just silence. Commander Rhea 17 stood in the war-torn capital. Her armor reflected the fires of the broken city. Behind her, human medtechs helped wounded Yalari civilians. Machines built shelters in seconds. Cleanup drones floated over collapsed buildings. We complete the mission, Rhea said to her second-in-command. Then we vanish. Just like before? He asked. She nodded. That is the protocol. Captain Relax rushed to meet her. Wait, he called out. Rhea stopped but did not turn. You saved our people. You saved our world. We owe you everything. Rhea said nothing. Relax stepped closer. Please, help us rebuild. Stay. Her voice was low. You don't want that. Relax frowned. Why not? Rhea turned to him at last. Her helmet retracted, revealing a human face. Calm, cold, and scarred by years of war. We are not builders, she said. We are weapons. And with that, she walked toward her ship. In the galaxy's outer rim, the ancient race called the Vakor activated their emergency protocols. They had records, very old ones, of what humans could do, how they fought, how they ended things. One Vakor general said softly, We must not repeat history. They weren't the only ones thinking that. Within days, secret meetings were held. Treaties were reviewed. New alliances formed, not to fight each other, but to prepare, in case the Deathworlders didn't go back to sleep. Meanwhile, in deep space, the Deathworlder fleet moved silently. Inside Prometheus 9, the AI that ran Earth's defense network, a new file opened. Alien response patterns detected. Increased surveillance recommended. Commander Rhea watched the data scroll across her screen. They're scared, she said. Her second-in-command replied, They should be. But fear turns to action, she added. They will come for us next. He frowned. What do we do? She looked out the window of her ship. We prepare. Back on Yalari Prime, people began rebuilding. Hope had returned, but so had fear. The humans had come like shadows, destroyed the enemy, then disappeared like ghosts. No one knew where they went, or if they would come back. Captain Relax stood alone on the rooftop of the command center. He looked at the stars and whispered, What have we brought back into the galaxy? But far beyond Yalari space, hidden in the void, a small human probe drifted silently. It picked up transmissions, military planning, movement of ships, changes in power. The galaxy was reacting, preparing, and Earth was watching. Deep in the void between stars, a ship moved in silence. It was not human. It belonged to the Zarketh Dominion, designed for one purpose only: to hunt. Inside, General Korvek stood over a glowing table, eyes cold, heart full of fear and anger. We must strike now, he said to his officers, before the Deathworlders spread. His second-in-command looked nervous. Sir, we don't even know where Earth is. No one has found it for over 100 years, Korvek growled. Then we find them. We track their ships. We follow their data trails. And when we locate Earth, we erase it. A new plan was born. In a hidden base orbiting a dead moon, Deathworlder Fleet Command monitored everything. Prometheus 9 had already detected the Zarketh plan. Inside the main command chamber, Commander Rhea 17 stood before the galactic map. They're forming hunting parties, she said. They think they can come for us. Her second-in-command, Kai 42, shook his head. They don't understand what they've done. Rhea gave a cold smile. Let's teach them. She tapped the screen. New orders were sent. Hours later, the First Zarketh hunting ship vanished. No trace, no debris. Just silence. Then the second disappeared. And a third. Across the galaxy, Zarketh hunters became the hunted, and they didn't know how. In a dark control room on Yulari Prime, Captain Relax sat with his science officer. "Are they really gone?" he asked. She shook her head. "No. They're hiding. Watching." Relax leaned back, tired. "We thought calling for help would save us, but I don't know if we saved anything, or just lit a fire across the stars." Outside the window, Yulari children played for the first time in weeks. But high above them, defense satellites turned, installed by humans before they left. The Yulari didn't control them, and they didn't dare touch them. Somewhere in the Orion arm of the galaxy, a Threxan survivor ship limped through space. It sent a message to all nearby empires. The humans are not saviors, they are monsters. They strike from shadows, they erase fleets without warning. Do not trust them. The message echoed in space, and it was heard. On the diplomatic moon of Vornaxis, 20 alien species gathered for an emergency summit. The council leader raised his voice. "If we don't stop the Deathworlders now, no one will be safe." "But we called them for help," shouted another. "We didn't know what we were waking up." Arguments filled the room, and in the back a shadow moved unnoticed. A human drone, recording everything. Back on Prometheus 9, Commander Rhea watched. "The footage. They want to fight us," Kai said. Rhea nodded. "Of course they do. Should we strike first?" She was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. "No. Let them plan. Let them gather fleets. Let them believe they have a chance." Kai frowned. "And then?" She turned her eyes toward the star map. "Then we remind them why they feared us." On a planet in Zarketh space, a fleet of ships stood ready. General Korvac smiled. "All systems charged. We go after their scouts first. Capture one, find Earth." But they never got the chance. The sky above them turned black. Something enormous passed between their sun and the planet. It was not a moon, it was not a station, it was a Deathworlder ship, bigger than anything they had ever seen, and it was watching. Then, in the blink of an eye, the Zarketh fleet was gone. Back in their hidden base, Commander Rhea stood before a window, watching stars. Kai stood beside her. "They know we're out. Here now," he said. She nodded. "Let them come." Kai asked one last question. "Why didn't we destroy everyone when they attacked us long ago?" Rhea's face stayed calm. "Because we wanted peace." "Do we still want peace?" She didn't answer, but her silence was louder than words. Far from the center of the galaxy, behind silent stars, behind forgotten systems, there was a blue planet, covered in clouds, surrounded by defense rings, guarded by machines that never slept. That planet was Earth. No one had seen it in over 100 years. Most believed it was destroyed. Others thought it had been hidden forever. But now, it stirred. Deep under the surface, inside a massive vault, old machines hummed to life. Data flowed, alarms blinked, and at the center of it all, something woke up. Prometheus, one, the original AI, the core intelligence of the Deathworlders. Its voice echoed inside the vault like thunder in a cave. "Query, galactic threat level." Another AI replied. "Threat level rising. Multiple empires preparing coordinated strike. Humans identified as primary target." Prometheus 1 paused. "Time to full war?" 32 standard days. Silence. Then, activation. Awaken the Prime Directive. In orbit above Earth, long-dead ships powered on. Satellites blinked red. Energy flowed through weapons that had not fired in a century. The planet was not just a home. It was a fortress, and now it was ready. In the outer rim, Commander Rhea 17 received a signal. She hadn't heard that frequency in years. She stood at full attention as Prometheus 1 spoke. "Return to Earth. Directive shift in effect. Operation Shieldfall begins. Kai-42 stared at the screen. Shieldfall? That's final protocol. Rhea nodded. That means Earth is preparing for total war. Kai whispered, we didn't even attack anyone. They're the ones hunting us. Rhea looked toward the stars. They made the same mistake. Again. On Zarketh Prime, leaders celebrated. A spy had returned. We found Earth's location, said General Korvik. It's real, it exists, and it's vulnerable. They didn't know their spy was a plant. The humans had let them find Earth, on purpose. The Zarketh planned a full assault. Massive fleets gathered from 5 empires. Everyone wanted to be the one to destroy the Death Worlders. They prepared missiles, carriers, planet-killer weapons. They believed they were ready. They were wrong. 30 days later, they arrived. The sky over Earth filled with alien ships, millions of them, a wall of firepower stretching across space. The commanders of the Allied fleets gave one last command. Erase the human homeworld. They fired everything. Thousands of beams, missiles, bombs. The stars turned red with light, but when the fire faded, Earth still stood. A glowing sphere surrounded it. The planetary shield, unbreakable. Then, Earth fired back. From under the oceans, towers rose. From under the ice caps, cannons lifted. From the planet's core, energy surged through defense rings. Massive plasma storms fired into the alien fleets. Ships vanished in seconds. Others were torn apart by invisible gravity weapons. One by one, the attackers fell. And then Earth released its final weapon, Project Wraith. Black ships that didn't appear on radar. Fast, silent, alive. They didn't just destroy enemy ships. They hunted the commanders. They entered bridges. They whispered through enemy comms. And then, silence. On the Yalari homeworld, Captain Relex received the news. The Allied fleet is gone, said his officer. Every single one. Relex closed his eyes. He had warned them. He had seen what humans could do. They thought they could kill Earth, he said quietly. They forgot Earth doesn't die. It waits. In orbit, Commander Rhea stood before Earth for the first time in 100 years. It had changed. Larger stations, newer satellites, and something deeper, something ancient, now awake. Kai asked, what happens now? Rhea answered, now the galaxy remembers. The galaxy was silent, not from peace, but from fear. The great fleets that attacked Earth were gone. Entire empires had lost their best ships, their best leaders. No warning, no escape. And now, something new appeared. Across the galaxy, screens lit up, radios buzzed, data relays blinked. A message was being broadcast everywhere. Every species, every government, every outpost, every screen showed the same thing. A human face. Commander Rhea 17. She stood in full armor, helmet off, eyes calm but cold. Her voice was quiet, but it echoed across stars. To those who attacked Earth, you woke something you never understood. You tried to erase the past, but we are still here. We always were. And now, you will listen. Galactic leaders froze in their chairs. Civilians watched in silence. Rhea continued. We do not want war. We never did. We answered a cry for help, and you responded with fear and fire. But we are not your enemies, unless you choose us to be. The screen shifted. It showed the ruins of Yalari Prime, then the rebuilding. Human machines. Human medics. Human aid. We do not conquer. We protect. We watch. And if needed, we strike. Now the screen showed flashes of destroyed fleets, the failed attack on Earth. And then, it went black. Rhea's voice spoke one last time. You started this, but we will end it. Choose peace, or vanish. Then the message ended. No music, no logo, just silence. Across the stars, panic spread. Some empires called emergency meetings, some tried to hide their fleets, others surrendered before a single shot was fired, and a few finally understood. Back on Yalari Prime, Captain Relex watched the message again and again. He stood on a balcony looking at his people. They were alive because of one thing, because the SOS had reached Earth. "I hope they never get angry again," he whispered. His science officer stood beside him. "Are they really gone?" "No," Relex replied. "They're watching. Always." Inside, Earth's main command core, Prometheus 1, ran final calculations. The AI had no emotions, no pride, no hate, only purpose. It spoke to Rhea privately. Galactic threat now reduced by 84%. Suggest returning to long sleep status. Rhea stared at the Earth below. "Not yet," she said. Prometheus 1 paused. "Reason?" she answered softly. "They forgot once. I want them to remember a little longer." In deep space, human ships moved in shadow. Not attacking, not invading, just watching, listening, waiting. Because humans knew something the others didn't. Peace is only real when you are strong enough to stop war before it begins. And somewhere far away, in another corner of the galaxy, a small outpost picked up a faint signal, a cry for help, a new one. The officer frowned and turned to his commander. "It's real. Another distress signal." The commander looked at the coordinates. He went pale. "It's near Earth." Everyone in the room froze. The officer asked, "Do we answer it?" The commander thought for a long time. Then he nodded slowly. "Yes. But let the humans go first."